everyone. Thanks for taking a minute to grow. My name is Dustin Cohn. I'm this year's horticulture intern for the Solo Counties, and today we're going to talk about the different types of hydrangeas. So our first example right here is what we call a hydrangea paniculata, meaning that the blooms grow to a point. So this is a limelight hydrangea, and as you can see here, that it's just starting to come into bloom, and you can actually see that the blooms are going to a point, meaning that's where it gets the name paniculata. So kind of the one plus about this hydrangea is it blooms on new wood. So what is new wood versus old wood? So when it blooms on new wood, that means if you have like a harsh winter, or if you want to cut back your hydrangea, it'll actually bloom that year. Because like some other varieties we're going to talk about tonight bloom on old wood, meaning that they set their blooms on last year's growth. So this one blooms on new wood. So every spring I come out and I trim this hydrangea back. And you can actually see on this hydrangea where the old growth is compared to the new growth, because it's more of a woodier stem and the new growth is more this green color. So you can just kind of see how it blooms on its new growth. And then our other example right here is this Hydrangea macrophylla. So this one blooms on old wood. So old wood, like the limelight was new wood, so it bloomed this year. But old wood, so like this one right here, says it blooms on last year's wood. So the one downside with this is if you have a harsh winter or you have deer that nibble on your plants, that could potentially get rid of your blooms. So like this last year, we had kind of a harsh winter, and I just moved these hydrangeas, and where they were unprotected. So that's why I didn't get any blooms this year, is because they bloom on old wood. So that's kind of the one downside to planting a Hydrangea macrophylla. And then the last two varieties we're going to talk about are an oak leaf and a Hydrangea arborescens. So this is the oak leaf hydrangea right here. And as you can see, they get their name because of the way their leaves look. So oak leaf hydrangeas are hydrangeas that bloom on old wood, like the macrophylla. So you want to put them in a place where they can get their full size without having to be trimmed or size controlled, because if you did, you'd be maybe forfeiting next year's bloom. So if you're going to plant a hydrangea oak leaf or a macrophylla hydrangea, you're going to put them someplace where they can get their full size without having to be trimmed. And the last one we're going to talk about is a Hydrangea arborescens. So they're just kind of like a limelight paniculata. So they bloom on new wood. The only difference is you can see that their blooms are more of a circular shape. So these are the types of varieties you'd see, like an Annabelle or an Incredible variety. So you can see that their blooms grow more of this ball shape. And these ones are really good for an area where you can have to have like a size controlled height variety. So that's why you want to plant one that blooms on new wood in an area where you have to either cut back, or if you have deer issues and deers nibble on your plants, the new wood varieties would be good ones to plant if you're worried about that kind of issues. So thank you for taking a minute to grow and learning about hydrangeas.